I have put a petition on behalf of the nation against it, asking the EC to reconsider this duration and extend the time for us. 27th of May, this practice is supposed to end, making it exactly 20 days. For 33 million people as a nation is certainly not enough, certainly impossible to make it right for a country. Now let's look at other countries like Europe.
It is with a sense of urgent responsibility that we address the myriad of issues undermining the integrity of our electoral process under the current administration. The Electoral Commission, which should function as an impartial arbiter, has exhibited a worrying trend of negligence and incompetence that must not go unchallenged, even as we approach the critical 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. Despite the EC's mandate to conduct free and fair elections, we have witnessed a systematic erosion of trust through its actions. Actions that starkly reflect the corrupt and cronyistic tendencies of the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia government. The NPP's veiled threats to retain power at all costs and the EC's complicity in these threats represent a direct assault on the democratic principles that Ghana has long been celebrated for. Today, we have laid bare the EC's continuous failings, from the questionable recruitment of electoral officers to the mishandling of registration processes and the flagrant security breaches orchestrated by those in power. These are not mere oversights, but appear to be part of a broader scheme to disenfranchise particularly the youth and suppress new voter registrations that are critical to shaping Ghana's future. Furthermore, we call upon civil society, the international community, and other political stakeholders to join us in closely monitoring the EC's activities. This broad-based vigilance is essential to ensure that the forthcoming elections truly reflect the will of the Ghanaian people.
He further reiterated the party's commitment in defending the democratic rights of Ghanaians.
NDC reiterates its unwavering commitment to defending the democratic rights of all Ghanaians. We will not stand idly by while the potential of a free and fair election is undermined. We will confront and contest any and all attempts to skew the electoral process. Our dedication to the democratic process remains resolute, and we are prepared to take all necessary actions to protect the integrity of the votes of the Ghanaian people. Let it be clear, the choice before the EC is straightforward. They can either conduct the duties they have been given with the integrity that the position demands and ensure a peaceful transition of power.
George Yosin Vinay for Pan-African Television.
The registration so far. At the end of day 6 of the registration exercise, the following are the figures for each region. Greater Accra, 33,899, representing 13.5%. Northeast region, 6,928, representing 2.8%. Upper East, 10,646, representing 4.2%. Northern, 19,491, 7.8%. Bono region, 8,972, 3.6%. Bono East, 9,681, 3.9%. Volta, 12,190, 4.9%. Upper West, 8,474, 3.4%. Eastern, 25,625, 10.2%. Central, 27,984, 11.1%. Ahafo, 6,273, 2.5%. Ashanti, 44,232, 17.6%. Western North, 9,134, 3.6%. OT, 7,259, 2.9%. Savannah, 5,261, 2.1%. Western, 15,100, 6.0%. The national total is 251,149. The national total is 251,149, meaning the commission has been doing an average of 45,000 per day. Now let's look at some dynamics in this registration. Females and males registration. A pattern that has become a regular feature of this registration since the first day is that nationally we are seeing more females registering than males. So of the total 251,149, females alone constitute 135,898, which is 54.11%. And males are 115,251, which is 45.89%. First-time voters. First-time voters, those between the ages of 18 and 21, constitute the majority of registered voters in all the 16 regions. Nationally, they represent 88.02%. That is 221,066 of the total number of registered voters so far. Persons with disabilities. At the end of the census, we've registered 400 persons with disabilities. These are the regional distribution of the persons with disabilities. Greater Accra 33, Northeast 13, Upper East 19, Northern 25, Bono 108, Bono East 13, Volta 14, Upper West 11, Eastern 20, Central 37, Ahafo 37, no, Central 37, Ahafo 4, Ashanti 27, Western North 9, Oti 20, Savannah 6, Western 21. So this figure of the total is 382, which constitutes 0.13% of the total number of registered voters.
Always an absolute pleasure to come your way here on Pan-African Television. Welcome to Youth Empowerment Television Show. My name is Mamitra. Today on the show, we are getting into ascertaining public trust in the Electoral Commission, and we want to know the view of the Ghanaian youth. And so my producer has put together a rep from the MPP communications team in the person of Clinton Ofe. And this is the second time coming on the show. Clinton, it's good to see you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
You are in white. Are you celebrating something?
I've always been white. The last time that I was here, I was in white.
Was it not blue?
I have come here in white and then blue as well. But the immediate one that I came, I was in white.
Okay.
White is colorful, looks vibrant, and then I mean.
Okay, and also we've invited Julius Anthony Kwame, and he is the member of NDC Communications team, and he's on his way. He's not here yet, but we'll commence the conversation, and then when he comes, he can join the conversation. I'm sure that from the video that has played before the introduction of the show, you would get a bit of what we are getting into. We are getting into the Electoral Commission, and I understand that the registration process that started on the 7th of May, that was supposed to end on 27th, has been extended to the 29th. So that means we've been given 2 days in addition to register. This is to, erode any effect of disenfranchising anybody who is eligible, who is old enough to register and vote, who did not have the chance to do so during the registration process or period. Clinton, it's good to have you.
Thank you for having me. You're looking very beautiful today. You see how the president addresses his wife? My beautiful Rebecca. Fortunately for you, unfortunately you are married, but I can still compliment you, right? The only person who doesn't compliment his wife is the former president, John Mahama. Have you noticed that?
I haven't noticed that.
Yes, even the vice president, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has adopted complimenting his wife in the same manner, calling her my beautiful Samira. You get it?
But yes. What does complimenting or not complimenting do for our economy? What does it change?
It's not significantly about the economy. It is showing affection towards women.
But what about towards women?
Yes.
This is a married man, so what if he's showing his affection towards his wife behind closed doors and they are not very affectionate in public?
You have to be profound with showing love, okay? Yes, because like demonstrating, you are a leader. You lead by example.
I mean, I've seen him celebrate his wife in various ways.
In what ways? Like I have said, he hasn't done so by complimenting her in public. And that is the reason why I would like to say, because of his lack of affection for women, that is why he's on that rampant vilification of the EC boss.
I mean, I don't think this is a metric to measure anybody's relationship or marriage, but if you have a difficult relationship with complimenting women, you will attack every woman in leadership. Who is attacking? I've not seen.
He has done so.
How has he done so? He has appointed. If he wins, if he becomes president next year, he would have a vice president as a female.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Where does this come in? I mean, Clinton, let's not veer off our conversation. Let's not veer off our topic.
First of all, let me greet the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and his capable vice, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia.
His mate.
Yes, he is the incoming President of the Republic of Ghana. With him, it is possible to break the 8.
I see.
Yes.
I see.
Or you have any doubt or skepticism?
I mean,
you don't believe that we can break the 8?
My belief doesn't change anything. I mean,
but
you guys
what is your perception about breaking the 8?
I don't have any perception.
Okay, let me start by also greeting our venerable General Secretary, Chief Justin Kodria. I salute you, sir. And then, okay, now I can start by saying this. You were asking, you should ask your question again, or you haven't even asked me.
I have not even asked my question. The MPP people would not allow you to speak, and yet they claim that people are not complimenting women. You are not allowing a woman to voice out. Anyway, let me ask my question. So, since the beginning of this registration, we've seen your opponents, the NDC, has had 2 press conferences and has identified a number of issues that, dent on the trust of the Electoral Commission, and people have also raised issues about trust in the Electoral Commissioner. But I have seen on other platforms that the MPP sort of do not have any issues with the Electoral Commission and the Electoral Commissioner. I mean, I wish that Julius was here to start the conversation to talk about their issues so that he would address them. But since he's not here, they've made mention of some missing BVDs, some areas not having good networks, and then a number of issues, security, and a number of issues. The MPP does not have any concerns. You are thoroughly okay with the work of the Electoral Commission and the process of registration and everything. You are okay.
Ordinarily, like if you're running an organization, like I said, there are certain margin of inefficiencies or margin of error that you would have to anticipate. And so the situation about having lost some BVDs is quite unfortunate. Okay, and then issues
we should note that the Electoral Commission denied it.
They denied that.
Keep in mind that
how
these
did they come back to admit that those devices were indeed
let me make my point. Let's also keep in mind that these machineries or these equipments were kept under surveillance. They were not just kept there and then left alone. There were security apparatus or apparatus that were put in place to make sure that these things are kept safe. So these are issues that the NDC has raised, and I think these are issues that are very pertinent for us to look at. But the MPP seems to be okay with
because in their electoral database system, even though they might have lost some BVD verification devices or whatever it is, they have a database backup system. So we realizing that they can rely on a backup database. We are not so worried about they losing those devices. Okay, and I said there is theft. If there is any compromising in surveillance and all of that, it is something that happens to any organization. We can wake up today and then people can just ambush this place and then certain things can get missing.
But there's never been any reports to any police station of an ambush or of theft or anything of that sort.
So how did those things, if you are saying that those things have been missing, then definitely somebody might have taken them. You get it? So
but why must it take an outsider to report that?
How did an outsider notice that those devices are missing? Okay, it is something that came to public, and then they have to just substantiate it or support the claim that is in the public. So me, I did not get to hear the missing devices from any NDC member. I get to hear it from the news that this is the situation that has happened. And the EC came to give an assurance that they have actually, they have a data backup system that can replace the missing data that it was on the BVDs, right?
Yeah,
that
BVDs, yeah.
That got missing.
So we shouldn't be worried that these BVDs can be used.
No, if the data is what practically can you use the BVDs for? What can you do with it? How are you going to manipulate it? How are you going to give me an idea as to how it's going to be compromised?
I'm asking you.
Yeah, I don't see how people can manipulate it into any interest. You get it? You don't use it for anything, because if this database of people that is kept on, if you want to talk about privacy breaches, that is another matter. But we are not dealing with privacy breaches because significant or sensitive data have been captured on those devices. You get it? And then coming to the point that, like I say, most of the time, if you check the perception of the Ghanaian youth, or ordinarily, you see the youth relatively don't get so worried about the electoral processes of the EC. They are relatively calm when it comes to all those processes. Because if you check the Afrobarometer report from 2011 to 2015, the perception index was 41%. Today, from 2016 to 2020, it stands at 53% among the youth. So if you tell me that there's a drop down in confidence, I don't know which data or document you are referring from.
Okay. Clinton, hold your thoughts there. Let me take a video break. My producer is telling me that we can watch a video on this topic and then we can come back to the studios to continue the conversation. Please stay.
Of day 6 of the registration exercise, the following are the figures for each region. Greater Accra, 33,899, representing 13.5%. Northeast region, 6,928, representing 2.8%. Upper East, 10,646, representing 4.2%. Northern, 19,491, 7.8%. Bono region, 8,972, 3.6%. Bono East, 9,681, 3.9%. Volta, 12,190, 4.9%. Upper West, 8,474, 3.4%. Eastern, 25,625, 10.2%. Central, 27,984, 11.1%. Ashanti, 44%. Western North, 2.9%. 100, 6.0%. 900 and dynamics in this registration. Females and males registration. A pattern that has become a regular feature of this registration since the first day is that nationally we are seeing more females registering than males. So of the total 251,149, females alone constitute 135,898, which is 54.11%. And males are 115,251, which is 45.89%. First-time voters. First-time voters, those between the ages of 18 and 21, constitute the majority of registered voters in all the 16 regions. Nationally,
you're welcome back from that quick video break. So I think that was the EC debunking a number of the issues that have been, or responding to a number of the issues that has been raised by the biggest opposition, NDC, on various issues. And so, Clinton, you were speaking before we took the break, so you can continue from there. I mean, do you think that the Ghanaian youth would have any base to stand on if they do not have trust in the Electoral Commission and the Electoral Commission's process of registering people?
Well, the Ghanaian youth, ordinarily or relatively, I don't think that they are relatively calm when it comes to the electoral processes of the Electoral Commission. That is why when you check the Afrobarometer index, like I had mentioned earlier on, from 2011 to 2020, 2015, the perception index was 41% among the youth. And today, from 2016 to 2020, it stands at 53%. So considerably, the perception of the young people concerning free and fair election, objectivity, proficiency and efficiency of the modules of the EC, I think that they are a little bit impressed. Relating it to the data that is out there, unless maybe you have a contrary data that you want us to reference and something that you want to say. If you see that the NDC are making a lot of claims, they want to set up a very chaotic situation around the electoral processes so that they will create a certain impression so that people would sort of sway away from trusting the EC, and it is a political gimmick. It is a machination.
Don't they have rights, or aren't they in the right to raise concerns?
If they have concerns,
if they are missing BVs,
if they have concerns,
if they believe there are minors who are being registered, if they believe there are minors being buzzed to registration centers, if they believe that there are foreigners who are being buzzed to go and register, don't they have the right, or are they not in the right to raise concerns?
So if they have concerns, why have they boycotted attending IPAC? That is a very profound forum where they can express their dissatisfaction. You get it? And they have boycotted that process some years ago. They haven't been attending IPAC.
But they have this year.
You get it?
They have.
If they have started attending IPAC, I think the best place to address this issue is to go to IPAC and address they are not the only political party in the country.
But they are the biggest opposition.
They are the biggest opposition party. So that's like they have a history of instigating chaos around some of this electoral process. You know what has happened to them, what has happened to the vilification that the EC has suffered in the hands of the NDC. Well, even with the immediate election that we had, the 2020 election, the NDC know practically well that they have no case going to the court. They had no data, they have no evidence, nothing to support any claim. And
is that why the Electoral Commissioner didn't take the stand?
It's not about taking the stand or not, but what has happened, even within them, within their rank, vocally they have voiced out that they know that they had a weak case attending to the court. So obviously,
I mean, but you would agree with me that Jane Mensah would have rallied a lot of trust in her from the public and from the Ghanaian youth, especially if she took the stance to defend herself or
but if you have not made any case against me, if you have not made any case against me, how do you expect me to come and defend myself? It is a simple legal process. If you are somebody who attend court proceedings, you will identify that you don't set yourself up for things that are not there. If you say that I have stolen a chicken, establish your case, there should be a prima facie. Then I will be compelled to make a defense. But if you don't have any basis supporting the claim that you are making, nobody will allow you. There are certain habitual tendencies in the NDC, like I have said. They have that appetite for causing chaos anytime. You get it? So if you continue, because we have several political parties, how has it always been the NDC making cases?
Could it be that they are more vigilant because
so are you telling
and they
me
have
that,
more equipment to check?
They don't have any equipment. If they have equipment, they should.
But they've been able to. The NDC have been able to identify numbers that have been put together on the website of the Electoral Commission that were wrong.
No, if you say that maybe I have to report 3 and then mistakenly
they are underreporting numbers.
Wait, and mistakenly, because you see results comes.
I mean,
results comes in as when the EC have the results, and possibly they might have.
Remember that this is registration process. This is not an electoral process.
Fantastic.
This is a registration process. And so, how difficult is it to combine, for example, if 20 people have registered at Ayawaso West and 30 people have registered at Ayawaso North, how difficult is it to collate these ones such that an electoral commission, with all the sophistication, with all the machinery, with all the human, what is the word that I want to use? With all the human resource that they have, how do they come and make a mistake enough to put it out on their website? I mean, what is the rush? What are they rushing? Why are they rushing to update us for?
In data transiting systems, there are certain margin of errors, and then there's this transmission discrepancy, and they have identified, accepted, and then apologized to that regard. And it is a process. It is a process. The process has not concluded.
Yeah.
So during the process, we would identify the certain inconsistencies and we work on it. In organizational discrepancies, we all observe it anyway. You get it.
So
for the fact that
you've admitted that there will be some inconsistencies. Should we expect these inconsistencies come 7 December 2024?
That is why we are addressing them today. That is why we are making it public. Is
that not why the Ghanaian youth that do not have trust in this electoral commission?
They have not said so. Per the Afrobarometer indicators, the perception index has even considerably improved. So if you say they don't have any...
who are putting this research together?
I said Afrobarometer, and you are saying who is putting it there. They have done their research. It's an independent organization. You get it? This was not conducted by the NPP, whereas you would be able to say that the NPP might have influenced the research in their interest. This is a very credible institution, research institution, data institution that organize consequentially. Most of the time they do this, and then everybody knows they perform a lot of research relating to elections and all of that. Okay, so there is no evidence, a single evidence that the perception has dropped down among the youth. It is not factual. Let me make progress with what I was trying to say. The situations that you have identified, it is very useful for the performances and the procedural tendencies of the EC today, because if we identify the fault today, tomorrow the fault will not be there. But if they had not put the records there, how would you be able to identify that there is a mistake or there is a discrepancy?
We should commend the Electoral Commission for the transparency that it is given us.
The very first time we are observing such blatant transparency, and everybody is proud that at least they are giving the people what they are expecting to see, so that they can critique, identify loopholes, and then eventually there is correction attached to that. So that is basically
but the way you're saying these in organizations, there are certain errors that are. Do you understand that when we vote is 50 plus 1, and so if you make a mistake of 1 plus 1 or minus 1, you're going to change the face of the election, or you are going to change the thoughts and the decision of the people. So
that is why before we make that mistake of plus 1, we are working on our systems now. We are bringing. This is an.
But were you not aware that you were going to do the registration? Why did we have to get here before you make corrections?
This is an inclusive process where we get everybody on board. In there's an account adage that says that Nyansa ini baku for trimu. You get it. So everybody coming on board to support the EC, go through the registration process is the best bet for every Ghanaian to have trust and confidence in the EC, because even if not for anything at all, the EC has involved the public in their processes. Eventually, you see, we have made a lot of progress with our electoral processes when it used to be voting in an opaque object, voting in. So it is procedural, progressive. You don't get all the problems addressed at the same time. You have to work on it considerably. You have to work on this progressively, and that is practically what the EC is ensuring. Is
that why last year when we were doing the registration, there were faulty machines, networks were not available, and so we had to use offline methods to register people? 2024, this same issue was happening. You've seen the mistake last year. Why are we still facing the same problem?
Last year there was network challenges, right?
Yes.
You're saying that there was network challenges.
This year they are the same.
Network challenges is not in that capacity of the EC to
But you were aware of it.
Yes,
you were aware of it.
EC,
why were there no provisions made before, ahead of this 2024?
Network providers. If they are not ensuring efficient data services, how is that a problem of the EC? You get it.
So why
we had experienced a technical situation right now on the show.
Yeah.
How is that your fault? It is a technical situation.
But if that technical situation happened on Monday, yesterday, and I come to work today, and I still have to encounter that problem, it means the institution has a problem.
No, if there is a prevailing situation, we make sure that we deploy effective mechanism, just so that we can eradicate it.
So where is that effective mechanism now?
We have worked in the past to resolve some of the matters. We are still experiencing some. But the situation last year, you cannot say that mostly all of them is prevailing this year.
But
we have addressed most of the issues.
My problem is that you know that certain areas do not have network. For example, my village, Edioko number 2.
Where is that?
Edioko number 2 is in the Bono region.
Oh, okay. They don't have network. Eh?
We don't even have it's just few places that have lights. We don't have lights. We don't have network. You know this is a problem in this community. Why would you allow electoral people, why would you allow people to come there with equipment or things that would need network?
Okay, so because you have said that most of the time when the EC identified that in remote places like you have said, there are no network, they sort of aggregate the processes and take it to the nearby towns where there is stable network connectivity and other things. I think possibly they might have done that. You get it? I think possibly they might have done that.
You think
that, yes.
Possibly.
They might have done that.
They might
have done that.
Okay.
Okay, because I don't have all the facts.
I'm choosing your words for you. Might, possibly. You think they might, possibly. I mean.
Yes.
I mean.
Yes, because you see, I am not talking in the capacity for the EC, but I just have to give them the benefit of the doubt because we have seen a lot of...
That is the problem that a lot of people have with the NPP. Because whenever people have it with people who are in opposition, okay, and people who are in power. For example, had the MDC been in power, they would have defended every work of the EC, just like you are doing for the EC. Because this is an independent institution. This is an independent body. So why is it that your fellow political party, and funny enough, it benefits both of you. If they do things right, it benefits you. If they do things wrong, it affects both of you. So why are political parties not coming together to check the EC?
We have not said that the BVDs that has gotten missing is a good thing. In fact, there are certain rumors that the NDC is behind those thefts. It is rumored. It is rumored. I don't have those facts, but it is rumored. It can be true. They are capable of doing some of these things. You get it?
Yeah.
So if some of these things are missing or some of these problems are occurring, we are not saying that we are proud of it. We are not supporting it. But what we want to do is that it is an independent body. We don't have to allow the NDC to constantly instigate vilification almost all the time that the EC have to. If you do that, you distract them. If you do that, you take them off what they are supposed to do. And sometimes they even lie among the things that they say. They are not always forthcoming.
For example.
They are not always forthcoming.
For example.
I don't want to talk about that.
No, but you have to give us instances, because when I listened to their press conference, when they were making or raising issues and asking questions, they made instances. They gave examples like the BVDs. They are truly missing. They gave that. So if you're going to talk about things that are vilifying and lies and all of that, you're supposed to give us instances, because you cannot just speak anyhow and throw dust in our eyes.
No, how am I throwing dust?
Because you're saying they are vilifying them.
Why have you obtained a posture of defending the NDC?
I'm not defending the NDC.
It's like you have their presser, and then you said that they have identity.
That's why it's unfortunate.
Your posturing is practically on the stance of the NDC.
No.
You get it? And why? Because Julius couldn't make it, you want to represent Julius today on the show?
I'm not representing Julius. I'm a neutral person.
But you have, look, we have political parties, more than I think 10. Why is it that the NDC is the only person complaining here and there?
That's what I'm saying. What if they are more vigilant than the others?
What if they are also not more vigilant than the others?
But they are identifying
blowing
problems.
It out of proportion.
They are identifying
minor issues that can be dealt with. Like I said, the EC is carrying out a limited registration nationwide. So you cannot expect any margin of error. You cannot expect a fluid perfection of their procedural things. It has to do with their experiencing certain discrepancies here and there, and then working rapidly to address them and all of that. And effectively, they have done that. Like you said, they misreported certain figures, and they have corrected it. Like you said, there was a missing BVDs, and they have replaced the data, and they have given the public assurances that even though those BVDs has gotten missing, there is a backup database that they can rely on. So that it has restored the confidence back. So the NDC should stop creating so much chaos around the process. If you do that, you are going to disenfranchise your own people. You get it? The ordinary Ghanaian that you're expecting that they should vote for you, if you create so much tension around the process, they would not have any interest in getting through the process. They will get disenfranchised, and eventually it will affect their electoral fortunes. You get it? So they should collaborate, work with them rather than being an opposition to them. They have to come together. We all have to support the EC. So that is practically what the MPP is doing. Coming together, drawing the attention, hey, we can get this thing done right. I think we should do this in order. And all of that, we aggregate that and we get a very robust system. But if you always want to set yourself up, want to set the EC up for public vilification, I don't think that is the best way to go.
Okay, so is it Ernest Evalov Kwashi sends me a very lengthy message that I would read, and then I'll come back to the studios because Clinton is heated. I want him to cool down. He says, "Good afternoon, Madam Host. The Jean Mensah-led Electoral Commission committing grievous and gargantuan administrative errors in ongoing limited voter registration exercise. Simple arithmetic and the computation of figures are becoming difficult tasks for EC personnel in an air-conditioned offices, and they keep changing figures of people who duly registered and issued voter ID cards. This enveins, I don't get this word, that the EC is grossly inefficient and incompetent and still grappling with how to correctly calculate, collate, and compute figures generated from this ongoing nationwide limited voter registration exercise. These elementary errors does not bode well for Ghanaians begoing democracy and constitutional dispensation. It doesn't appear that Jean Mensah has not learned from her past mistakes, and she keep making or repeating them. Is it will-nilly or something that he's trying to say? He says any attempt and collusion to subvert the sovereign democratic will of the people by gun-wielding hooligans, bandits, or by the flawed judicial machinations shall be crushed with prudent political pistol and strategy. So this is Ernest Evalov's lengthy message that he sent. So there's also been concerns about security, and that, you know, even the police force is not being equitable to the NDC or other people. For example, if there's security issues at any registration center and then it concerns members or purported members of the NDC, they are arrested, and immediately, almost immediately, you know, statements are released to the public by the police. But if it involves any NPP or purported NPP members, there are no statements issued.
Are there any instances that you can cite?
They've mentioned...
because in Sonafo South, the youth organizer is a very good friend.
Of yours.
Kiss me. Shout outs to you, bro. You see, he was under attack. There was gunshot. Yes. There was gunshot in that constituency when he was only mobilizing just so people can get registered and then eventually vote. Oh,
so it's true that the MPP is busing people to vote registration centers to register.
But what is wrong with busing somebody?
No, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just asking that. So it's true.
Yes,
These are statements and allegations out there.
We have put in place mechanism just so that we can maximize our fortunes come December 2024 general election. So we can consolidate people and then put them together just so they can go through the processes fluidly and not have any challenges to deal with. So I don't see anything, unless maybe you have identified that there's a minor. And these days we are working on a unique comprehensive database with the Ghana card. Okay, so if you are a minor and then you have to add up your age, and then it is going to eventually affect you.
Yeah.
You get it. So any minor going through the process of forging his age just so he will be capable to vote, it is eventually going to have an impact on his database. You get it? Because you will need certain consistency, and then when it happens that there are certain inconsistencies, you would find yourself wanted. Yeah. So I don't think anybody would have that can, and it is even spearheaded by the MPP. That you see, if we, unfortunately we haven't had a comprehensive complete to the national identification process because it is procedural. It has to continue from time to time. Yeah. So people are still going through the process. Yeah. But if we have gotten to that point where we think that, okay, we have come to a maximum conclusion, we would have relied on that data, and then we wouldn't have to just...
I mean, you raised it, but they didn't really agree with it, that it should be the sole document for registration, but it was not.
Yes.
It was not
because,
really,
like I said,
taken
well. It is a new system, so it has to be tested with time. If it stands the test of time, then we can solely rely on it and then get assurances that now the Ghana card is capable of becoming the sole document for electoral registration.
Okay, Clinton, let me ask you this question before I ask you my final question. Do you think that the people who have lost trust in the Electoral Commission, based on some statements made by even the president, that he would not want to hand over to somebody who would destroy his legacy, he would not want to hand over to somebody who he has defeated? In this statement, this person being the former president, John Dramani Mahama, and then some minister or some NPP member of yours who is trying to say that they will not hand over to the NDC today, nor tomorrow, nor whatever. And then looking at the inconsistencies and the things that are happening with the Electoral Commission, some people have it in the back of their heads that this is some sort of connection, you know, between the presidency or the president or the NPP and the Electoral Commission, trying to, you know, change or make an effect such that you would hand over to your presidential candidates. Do you think that based on these statements and based on what is happening with the Electoral Commission, do you think the Ghanaian youth or some people who believe that they have some connection and so they do not have trust in the Electoral Commission have a base? Do you think they have a base?
Well, I think that Ghana is a democracy. Okay, our electoral, we are not running a junta. It is the NDC which came to power with a junta. And we have even bypassed that time. So a junta party, a party that has come into power like a junta and then eventually transited into a democracy, they cannot create an impression of fear that the president said that the president was elected on a democratic process. It is going to transit in that manner. If the president might have made a public statement that he is not going to hand over power to the NDC, he is only ensuring that the fortunes of the MPP in the electoral process will be maximized in a manner that would ensure victory for them, so that consequentially he will not have to hand over to somebody he has defeated once or twice or thrice.
He had also, before he became president, he had been defeated once and twice.
Yes.
So shouldn't we have handed over to him?
But because he won the election, you are compelled to hand over to him.
Exactly. So why make a statement
it was in
prior
contest.
to
in
election?
The contest of election that basing on the democratic tendencies surrounding our electoral processes, if we are not going to hand over to the NDC, because we will go through the democratic process of electing a president, and we are going to ensure that our candidate, the venerable, most hard-working, competent Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, would win 2024 election. That is what is going to happen. That is what he's going to do to support him. Because he had seen that he can deliver. Recently, you saw what happened at Madina Social Welfare Center, right?
What happened?
It's magnificent. You have not observed that the president has to, the vice president commission a Karayu accommodation facility.
That is an affable work. We have to commend him for that.
Yes, you haven't commended it. And then you think about the fact that these vulnerable people, they were responsibly vulnerable. May have stayed around Konkoma area, and if you see the accommodation, you cry. You get it. And today they have decent place of accommodation, and today they have a training program that is going to happen. You see, election has consequences. You believe that?
Yes, I believe that. I mean, that is work that we have to commend.
MPP
and
came to
for
power.
The fact that he actually said that the nurses would receive their allowances, and I've seen videos of them receive their allowances.
Let me conclude on this point.
I have about just a minute, so you have to conclude with that. And then let me ask this question so that you wrap up with it. Going into 2024 election, what are your expectations of the Electoral Commission and the Electoral Commissioner?
I don't want the Electoral Commissioner to sort of repeat certain things that are so controversial. Because you see, there's so much tension surrounding election this day, and NDC is responsible for causing that tension. You get it? Yes.
How?
Yes, because of the things that they say, because of their presence, because of their communication, because of their vilification.
Are you trying to take away their voice?
No, I'm not taking. No, but you have a voice, but you don't have to create a situation of chaos around.
I have not seen the chaos that you are talking about.
Like I've said,
I have seen the errors that they are identifying and the corrections that they are making.
Because today Julius is not here, so you will not see it. Okay, so let me conclude by saying that, like I said, election has consequences. Eventually, we voted for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia and the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And today, the Kaya people have a decent place of accommodation. They are going to train them and all of that. In the past, we voted for NDC you know that the YA and other state agencies partnered the vice president so that he can spearhead that, and then effectively it has been delivered. When the NDC was running YA,
why are you people doing a comparison? Why no? Ghanaians voted the NDC out because they felt they were not living up to task.
Yes.
And we brought you in to deliver.
If we don't compare ourselves to the NDC,
no, why are you going to compare?
If we don't compare, how will you see that we have performed?
Deliver the things that you said you were going to deliver. It's as simple as that.
Exactly. So let's say maybe the NDC was in power, a situation was like this.
We are
and
all in doom, so you are saying we are in doom CSA.
Yes,
you are comparing yourself. You are saying that $1 now is 15 cedis. You are saying your communicators are saying that had NDC been in power, it would have been $1 would have been 50 cedis.
Of course. If you look into the data, that is what was going to happen. Because as at the time that the NDC was in, but that's why we do it in percentage terms. We don't do it in nominal value. Like I said, Abu Gapele was the CEO of YEA, and then he ran YEA down, and he was convicted. But today, Mr. Kofi Banjapon, CEO of YEA, is running YEA, and then today, Kaya people have decent place of accommodation. This is what we talk about leadership. This is what we want to talk about transformation. This is what we want to talk about progress. And this is what the MPP represent, and this is what the MPP stand for. Thank you very much for the time.
Okay, I appreciate that. I'm sure they don't have any expectation of the Electoral Commission and the Electoral Commissioner, because I asked him that question. I think everything about the Electoral Commission and the Electoral Commissioner are perfect in the eyes of the MPP. And I have someone who says these guys are just noisy and empty-handed. I can't use that word on TV. This is why Ghana is what it is today. Thanks. I mean, it is well. It is well for you and I. We are the future of this country, and we can make Ghana a better place. Please keep safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.